You know that feeling, right? When the day just kind of vanishes.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there. Staring at the clock, wondering where it all went.
Exactly. And today, we're not just complaining about it. We want to really look at how to manage our time better, effectively.
That's the plan. We've been looking into this great chat between Mike and Emma on the EDP English Dialogue podcast channel.
Right.
They covered a lot of really practical stuff, and, well, our goal here is to pull out the strategies that can actually help you get a handle on your day.
Yeah, precisely. Whether you feel like you're already pretty organized or maybe you're just drowning a bit,
Hmm.
there should be something useful here, something you can use straight away
The idea is to shift from feeling, constantly reacting.
to feeling more in control, empowered.
Exactly. So Mike and Emma, they kicked things off with something that sounds simple, but it's key: setting clear goals.
Okay, goals. Why is having that clear direction like so fundamental?
Well, think about it like a filter. If you know what you're aiming for,
Right.
it's much easier to tell the difference between tasks that actually move you forward and things that just keep you busy.
Busy work. Yeah.
Mike used a good example: completing a work project by Friday. That specific target,
Mm-hmm.
it shapes how you plan your days leading up to it. Helps you stay focused.
That makes total sense. It's like trying to drive somewhere new without GPS or a map. You're moving, sure, but
Hmm.
where?
Exactly. Emma actually called goals a compass.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it guides you, keeps you on track when, inevitably, distractions pop up.
Okay, so we have the compass, the goals. What's the next step then for managing time well?
It leads straight into prioritizing, really.
Mm,
Once you know your tasks, you need a way to decide what gets your attention now.
right.
And Mike and Emma talked about the Eisenhower matrix. It's a really useful way to categorize everything.
The Eisenhower matrix. Okay, for anyone not familiar, that's sorting tasks by urgent and important, right, into 4 boxes.
That's the one. Urgent, important, not urgent, urgent, not important, and neither.
So how does dividing things up like that actually help day to day?
The real power is it forces you to choose consciously where your energy goes. Urgent and important, do it now, obviously.
Hmm.
But that important but not urgent box, that's where the real strategic stuff happens. The things that help your long-term goals.
Ah, okay. So it's not just about putting out fires.
Exactly. Then you've got urgent but not important.
Mm-hmm.
Those are often things you could maybe delegate or push back on.
The distractions in disguise.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And the last box, neither urgent nor important. Those are the time wasters you want to cut out.
That's a really clear framework. Very strategic. Now, they also mentioned time blocking. That sounds more like actively scheduling,
Yeah, it's about assigning specific chunks of time to specific activities.
like 9 to 10 a.m. for emails, 10 to 11 for that big project.
Exactly like that. Emma used that kind of example. It creates structured, dedicated focus time.
And that helps avoid the temptation to jump between things.
Precisely. It minimizes that switching.
Because they also talked about multitasking, didn't they? Which we all think we're good at.
Oh, yeah. But the reality is, it's usually just task switching really fast.
Right.
And every time you switch, your brain takes a tiny hit. It's not fully engaged immediately on the new thing. There's a cost.
So time blocking helps you stay in one zone for longer.
Yeah, that allows for that deeper concentration, better results, usually.
Makes sense. Like trying to have 2 conversations at once. Okay, this next one. This can be tough. Saying no.
Definitely tricky.
Emma really stressed how important setting boundaries is. Why is it so hard and why is it so vital for your schedule?
Well, it taps into our desire not to disappoint people, doesn't it? Or fear of missing out, maybe?
Yeah, FOMO.
But like they discussed, if you keep saying yes to things that don't align with your priorities,
You end up overcommitted.
totally, stretched way too thin, you can't give your best to what really matters.
So saying yes to everything can actually mean you achieve. Nothing significant.
It can. Yeah, it dilutes your focus.
Yeah.
Sometimes just saying not right now or let me get back to you is the best move. It protects your core work.
Okay, protecting your time. Now, Mike mentioned a strategy. Eating the frog. Sounds interesting.
It does. It basically means tackling your biggest, ugliest, most important task first thing in the morning.
Get the worst out of the way.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Once that frog is eaten,
Metaphorically speaking.
hopefully. The rest of the day feels, well, smoother, easier.
Emma mentioned doing that with a complex report, right? And feeling really good afterwards.
Yeah, she said it gave her a real sense of accomplishment,
Yeah.
boosted her motivation for everything else.
And I guess you stop dreading it all morning, too.
Exactly. That mental energy you spend worrying about it, gone. It fights procrastination head on.
That's a powerful psychological win early in the day. Okay, so we've tackled the big stuff.
Yeah.
What about the things that chip away at our focus? Distractions.
Ah, the constant battle. Mike and Emma definitely spent time on this. Notifications, social media, you name it.
It's so easy to just quickly check something and then, oops, 20 minutes gone.
Emma mentioned that exact scenario. It fragments your attention, kills productivity.
So what practical things can we actually do?
Well, the obvious ones.
Yeah.
Turn off notifications you don't absolutely need. Close irrelevant browser tabs. Maybe tidy up your workspace.
Create a less distracting environment.
Yeah. And maybe be more intentional about when you check your phone or email. Not constantly.
Set specific times for it. Or use website blockers during focus periods.
Those are great tactics too. It's about designing your environment to help you concentrate, not fight against it.
Okay, good tips. Mike then brought up batching tasks, grouping similar things.
Yeah, task batching. The idea is you do all similar tasks together in one block.
Like answering all your emails at once instead of dipping in and out.
Exactly. Or making all your phone calls in one go.
How does that help? Exactly.
It saves mental energy.
Yeah.
Your brain stays in the same mode. You're not constantly shifting gears between, say, writing, then analyzing, then calling someone.
Minimizing that cognitive load of switching.
Precisely. You get into a rhythm, a flow, more efficient.
Right. Another thing they mentioned was being realistic with planning and buffer time. We all underestimate how long things take, don't we?
Huh. Guilty as charged. We tend to be a bit optimistic.
Yeah.
So Emma's advice was crucial. Build in some buffer. If you think a task is an hour, maybe schedule an hour and 15.
Just a little extra cushion.
Yeah, because things always crop up, don't they? Unexpected delays, interruptions.
Yeah.
That buffer stops one delay from wrecking your whole day's schedule. Reduces that feeling of being constantly behind.
It gives you flexibility. Makes sense. Okay, what about bigger goals, the long-term stuff? How do we fit that into daily time management?
That's about breaking it down, making those big, maybe daunting goals feel manageable.
Smaller steps.
Exactly. Mike talked about setting weekly or monthly milestones that lead towards the big goal.
Okay.
And then you weave small actions related to those milestones into your daily plan.
Like if you're learning a language, maybe 20 minutes of practice each day.
Perfect example. It's about integrating those small, consistent steps.
And Emma stressed the consistency part, right? Little bits adding up.
Absolutely. Those small, regular actions compound over time. That's how you achieve the big things, not usually in one giant leap.
Okay, consistency is key. Now, Mike also mentioned reviewing and adjusting, looking back on how things went.
Yeah, that reflection piece is really important. End of the day or end of the week, take a few minutes.
To see what worked and what didn't.
Exactly. Identify patterns. Maybe you notice you always run out of time for a certain type of task, or maybe one strategy just isn't clicking for you.
Emma mentioned doing this herself, right? Comparing her plan to reality and tweaking things.
Yeah, like noticing too much time was getting sunk into emails and then deciding to block specific email time, or asking colleagues to batch requests.
So it's not set and forget. It's an ongoing process of refinement.
Definitely. Time management is a skill you develop and adapt. Our needs change, so our strategies should too.
Good point. Emma also brought up working with your energy levels, not fighting them.
Oh, that's a smart one. We all have times when we're naturally more alert or, sluggish.
Morning person versus night owl kind of thing.
Sort of, yeah. But even within the day, the idea is to match the task to your energy.
So tackle the tough, brain-heavy stuff when you're feeling sharp.
Exactly. And maybe save the more routine, less demanding tasks for when your energy dips.
Work smarter, not just harder. Makes sense.
Reduces frustration, too, trying to force difficult work when you're just not feeling it.
Okay. They also discussed aiming for excellence, not perfection. What's the difference there, time-wise?
It's about knowing when good enough is actually good enough.
Avoiding diminishing returns.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
You can spend hours tweaking something for tiny improvements that maybe no one else will even notice.
Right.
Mike pointed out that recognizing that point lets you stop, sign it off, and move your valuable time to the next important thing.
Don't let perfectionism stall your progress on everything else. Got it. And finally, breaks. Seems counterintuitive when you're busy.
It does, doesn't it? But they emphasized how powerful short breaks are.
Like stepping away completely.
Yeah, even just for 5 minutes. Stretch, walk around, grab some water, deep breaths, whatever works.
How does that boost productivity, though?
It prevents mental fatigue, clears your head. When you come back to the task, you often have renewed focus, maybe even fresh eyes.
Ah, so it stops you from just hitting a wall.
Exactly. Continuous work without breaks often leads to burnout and actually decreases efficiency over the long haul. Those pauses help maintain momentum.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Wow, Mike and Emma covered a huge amount of ground there. Really practical stuff.
They really did. And I think the main takeaway is that this isn't magic. It's about being intentional,
Intentional planning, prioritizing, dealing with distractions.
reflecting, adjusting, building sustainable habits. It's a skill, and like any skill, it gets better with practice.
Absolutely. And we really hope that listening to this gives you, our listeners, maybe one or two ideas you can try out.
Yeah, don't feel like you have to implement everything at once.
No, definitely not. Even small tweaks can make a surprising difference over time. Less stress, more achieved.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Reflecting on your week ahead right now.
Mm-hmm.
What's just one small adjustment you think you could realistically make to manage your time and energy just a little bit better?
That's a great question to ponder. Just one thing to start with.